Coming up on this week's episode of Flashtalk, men's basketball head coach Rob Senderoff talks about his team's recent win streak. Women's basketball head man Todd Starkey talks about his team's big upcoming road trip. Baseball head coach Jeff Duncan talks about his team's opening series in the state of Alabama. Gymnastics head coach Brice Biggin talks about the team's most recent meets and what they need to do to keep piling up wins. All that and more coming up in a flash. Welcome into our Flash Talk studios. Dane Richardson joined alongside by Kent State men's basketball head coach Rob Senderoff. Coach Sendy, your team's having a lot of recent success. You pulled it out down the stretch at home Friday night against Ohio. What can you say about your team's late game execution lately?
Yeah, we've worked a ton, recently in practice. I mean, really all year, but since we left the Ohio game at Ohio, where we really struggled late in the game, we've spent a lot of time working on executing late game stuff, and we've been fortunate for the most part when we've gotten in those situations. We've made the plays that we need to make to win those games. So our players, I think right now, have a belief when the games are tight that we're gonna find ways to win those games, and we've been fortunate. Central Michigan game got close, and we made some winning plays down the stretch. Arkansas State game got tight, and we made some plays down the stretch. Same with Ohio. So hopefully we can continue that during the rest of the season. I do know that generally speaking, to win in March, you've got to be able to close out close games. And, we've been able to do that here a little bit in February, which early in the year we did a few times, but in the month of January, we really struggled with that. So glad to see that happening, and hopefully our players will continue to believe, that we can win when the games get close.
I'll ask about two players. First, Sion Medley, a career high in points at home against Ohio. What can you say about his confidence and how that's improved this season?
When you're a point guard, this is his second year, but it's also his second school because he transferred here from St. Louis. I think when you get comfortable, your confidence elevates. Our players have all rallied around him, and he's an awesome kid. First and foremost, he's a really hard worker, and he's playing with poise and confidence that you need in that position. So. I hope and think that will continue as the season moves on, and I would expect as his career continues to develop, he'll continue to get better and better because he has a tremendous work ethic. He's a really, really good kid to be around, young man to be around, I should say, and he's a guy that people really gravitate towards. So happy for him, happy for our team, and I think his teammates are really happy for him as well. But he's got to continue to work hard, continue to stay humble, just like everybody on our roster does.
Another player I'll ask about, another career high, was Marquise Barnett last Tuesday against Central Michigan. That was a high-scoring affair. What was he able to do so well that really vaulted you guys to that win?
The ball found him in great spots. He's another guy who tremendous confidence, and when he has his opportunities to score, he has taken advantage of it. So, he's a guy who has great athleticism, tremendous physicality. And I think like a lot of guys, when you transfer, and this is his, fourth year, he's a senior, but when you transfer, trying to figure out how to fit into a new program and a new system, it's not always easy. The place where he came from, they haven't had as much success as a program. So trying to figure out how to blend your individual talent, which he has tremendous individual talent, into a winning program and winning success, that isn't always easy as well. And to see him break out like that, he's had some great moments for us throughout the course of the year. But that one in particular, 28 points in 20 minutes, just incredible explosive scoring ability. And we needed all of the points that he gave us. And, we need all of these guys as we move down the stretch of the season. One night it may be Marquise having, a big game like that. And the next night it may just be him, keeping a 50-50 ball alive. You just don't know what it's going to be. Like Jamal Sumlin, he had 5 tie-ups, 50-50 balls defensively that he tied up that, gained possession for us 3 or 4 times and, stopped them from scoring. Like, there's so many different plays that go into winning. And we need everyone to just focus on the winning plays.
That's Kent State men's basketball head coach Rob Senderoff. Coach, thanks for the time.
All right, thank you.
When it comes to reaching your goals, having the right support can make all the difference. That's why we trust Green Lending, Kent State Athletics' exclusive mortgage partner, to help you achieve your home ownership dreams.
Just like on the court, everyone has a role to play. With the right teammates, any dream is possible. Green Lending is here to be that support to help you make those big moves in life.
Visit greenlending.com and let Green Lending help turn your dreams into reality.
Green Lending, helping Golden Flashes achieve their biggest dreams on and off the court.
Joined by Kent State women's basketball head coach Todd Starkey. Coach, your team has a big week coming up ahead against Buffalo and Ball State. We'll briefly touch on your game on Saturday against Miami. Your team put together 3 solid quarters. That third quarter kind of got away from you there. Any other takeaways after you have a couple days after that game?
First, credit to Miami. I thought it's a team that continues to improve throughout the season. I think they have the ability to make some noise in March too. Very good defensive team. We let them kind of get to us a little bit. Thought we had some opportunities in the first half to kind of put things away and didn't take advantage of those things. The third quarter, we had about a 4.5 minute lapse on our ball screen coverages, and we didn't finish plays. Had some crucial turnovers that can't happen against a good team. So I told our team that this time of year, there's a lot of teams that are hungry and trying to prove themselves, and we have to be at our best. And 2 of the last 3 games, we certainly weren't. So we'll get that fixed, but no rest for the weary. Straight on the road to play number 1 and number 2 in the league.
You've had 3 double-digit deficits in conference play heading into the fourth quarter, yet in all 3 of those contests, you've been able to cut the lead to at least 1 possession in the fourth. So what does that say about your team's ability to bounce back?
Well, what it says is I don't like that trend. I don't like having double-digit deficits in the fourth quarter. It's nice to know that we have that to pull from. But at the same time, we don't want to put ourselves in that situation. So, once again, that's not what we're trying to prove, that we can come back. We want to make sure that we're playing better through the first, second, and third quarter, so we're not in that situation. And that's really the fix.
What's the biggest focus going into Buffalo this week? It's a team that you already beat, and obviously there's some history last year in the championship game.
Yeah, I mean, we've had some significant battles over the last couple of years with Buffalo. Obviously, once again, another hungry team that's right there in the hunt, and they're playing at home, and they play well at home. So we're going to have to be at our best on the road against a really tough Buffalo team, the leading scorer in the league, and Chella Watson and Kristen Lewis-Williams, I think, is definitely a first or second team all-conference type of player, and they've got some other pieces. So we've got our work cut out for us for sure.
Buffalo certainly also prides themselves on their defense, similar to Miami. So what is the offensive focus for you guys to move the ball efficiently? Because you scored over 80 against them last time.
Well, I'm certainly not going to talk about our game plan, in advance. But no, I think for us, it's really a focus on us, what we need to do well. We play well when we get great ball movement, play in transition, execute in the half court, get to the free throw line. Not uncommon things with all good offensive teams. So we just need to be a truer version of ourselves on the offensive end, and then defensively, we need to get a little more rigid. We've had some lapses over the last few weeks in some defensive spurts, and we've got to make sure that we shore those things up.
Every team, of course, goes through their peaks and valleys throughout the regular season, and specifically conference play. But still, how excited are you knowing that this team still has the ability to improve before they go to Cleveland?
Yeah, I thought we were starting to get a little bit close, and then we've shown ourselves a little bit. I definitely think this room has significant margin for improvement. Last year, we look back at kind of where we were in this 2 weeks swing right here, and we were kind of in the same position, to be honest with you. So we just have to make sure that our mindset is right. We want to have a growth mindset and continue to want to get better. We got to find a little bit more of an edge, play a little bit more hungry, and I think we'll be in the right position to have some success moving forward.
You have two big seniors on your team, Bridget Dunn and Jenna Batch. Are those going to be the two that you need to turn to down this tough stretch of games for you guys to really deliver some more wins at the end of the regular season and finish in the top three?
I certainly think they're a central piece of that. Our best rebounder, our best scorer. But the strength of this team is when everybody's pulling in the same direction. And so those two certainly can and need to lead the charge for us, being seniors, playing with some hunger and some desperation. But there's other pieces that need to come together. Janae obviously has been playing better. Deanna at the point guard position and her ball security and looking for opportunities to get her teammates open and knocking down open shots. And then Maya, obviously one of the most improved players in the conference this year, just continue to have the confidence to knock down shots. Our bench is very capable. And so all those things coming together is what will make us ready to go.
Last question, Coach. I know you're focused on Buffalo right now, but you got at Ball State, the league leader, 12-0 right now in conference play on Saturday. That game's on national television, so it's highlighted on ESPNU at noon. How excited are you that your program gets to be put in the spotlight again on that stage?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great sign for our program. It's the seventh time, this coming Saturday, the seventh time in the last 2 seasons we've been on national television. We want to make sure we represent ourselves and the MAC well in that contest and against a very, very good team. So hopefully we'll be ready for that challenge.
That's Kent State women's basketball head coach Todd Starkey ahead of a big week on the road. Coach, we appreciate the time.
Sounds good. Go Flashes.
Golden Flashes fans, this is men's basketball coach Rob Senderoff. At Kent State, we're building champions both on and off the court. In order to keep our winning tradition on the court, we need your support of the Blue and Gold Collective. Now more than ever, we need you to be our sixth man.
Flash family, make sure to play the Blue and Gold Collective 50-50 raffle.
And when you play, the Golden Flashes win.
Support the Blue and Gold Collective and help our Flashes soar.
Joined in our Flashtalk studios for the first time in the spring season by Kent State baseball head coach Jeff Duncan. Coach, appreciate you joining me. Go 1-2 in that first weekend in Alabama. What were your overall takeaways from those 3 games?
We're very talented. I'm excited about that. I don't think we played very well, as well as we can. I mean, we've done some really good things in the fall and in the winter. Leading up to this first weekend where we weren't even a version of that. So I was disappointed in that. Getting the first win against Eastern Kentucky, I was looking to build off of that, and I felt like we kind of went the other way a little bit. Just in this game's all about confidence and identity. And I felt like we lost it a little bit on Saturday, Sunday, and some of it too, like just knowing from being here in the last 11 years, we haven't been outside much. And I think when we played South Alabama under the lights, it kind of spooked us a little bit. And the confidence kind of swayed from that point on. Like for example, we lost the ball in the lights and then the comfort level there's a little bit of tension. So I think some of that stuff will be ironed out and fixed. I'm excited though, on where we're going to get to. And that's the most important thing.
Gavin Jones starts game 1, a good 5 innings for your team, kind of bouncing back after a shaky first inning. What did you see from him, and what is the potential? I know he's a high-velocity guy.
High-velocity guy. He was mid-90s for us on Friday. When he landed his slider. When he can land 2 pitches for a strike, he's really, really good, obviously, because he's high velo. And one of the things that he worked on all winter was to elevate his fastball. He's always been kind of knee to knee with his fastball, and guys have guessed in that direction. When he's able to elevate and then land a slider, he's pretty good. I was intrigued by the way he handled some things this Friday, because Eastern Kentucky came out swinging the bat a little bit in the first inning. They had some traffic. They created some traffic, and he handled it really good and then really settled in and had a good quality start for us on Friday.
So Solitaria showing out with 2 home runs against South Alabama. Yeah. What can you say about implementing those youngsters into the lineup that made you do that you saw from them in the winter and the fall?
Sawyer has legitimate power, and he can leave the park any part of the field. As you saw it on Saturday, he hit a ball right center, homer. And that's not a cheap ballpark by any means. It takes a little bit to get one out of there. And then he left center. I think he displayed what he's capable of doing. He's got real power. And then Micah can really run, can really go get it. Very exciting player, very athletic, and extremely hard worker. And he's worked his way into this lineup. I've got a lot of confidence in him, and I think he's going to have a great career. Both of those guys have a chance to have great careers. And just to answer your question and sprinkle them in, I didn't just sprinkle them in. They were thrown in that lineup from the get-go, and they saw every inning of this weekend. And I feel like the more we can do that, the more they're going to get their feet underneath them, and they won't be a freshman by conference season.
This weekend against Mercer, a 3-game set against the Bears. What are you expecting in that one?
Mercer's very good. They're old. It'll be a really good test for us. I'm intrigued. I'm more so worried about us. I want to see how we respond from this weekend. I'm not very happy, extremely happy, I should say. I think we're so capable, and I want us to play really well. I want to be more aggressive offensively. I want to see better starts on Saturday and Sunday from our starters. And I'm intrigued and excited for that. I think it's more about what we're going to do.
Head coach Jeff Duncan. Coach, we appreciate the time. Good luck down south.
Thanks, Dane. Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Coming up this week in Kent State Athletics, brought to you by KSU Ticks. Lacrosse has their home opener at 4 p.m. against Presbyterian on Thursday the 20th. Wrestling travels for a dual meet at Cleveland State on Thursday at 7 p.m. On Friday the 21st, softball has a doubleheader in the South Florida Showdown against Louisville and Michigan. Baseball has a 3-game set at Mercer Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and at 8 p.m. on Friday. Men's basketball is at Miami for an 8 p.m. tip on CBS Sports Network. On Saturday, the 22nd, Kent State men's and women's track and field has a meet at Ashland. Women's basketball is nationally televised on ESPNU at 12 p.m. at league leader Ball State. Softball has another doubleheader in the nightcap against Wisconsin and South Florida on Saturday. On Sunday, the 23rd, softball takes on Troy at 11:30 a.m. in Tampa, Florida. Gymnastics has a huge home meet inside the Max Center at 1 p.m. against Central Michigan, and lacrosse is back at home in Dick Stadium against Cincinnati at 3 p.m. And on the 25th, lacrosse travels to Lewisburg, PA to take on Bucknell. And finally, men's basketball is back inside the Max Center to take on Toledo for a 7 p.m. tip. As always, you can buy your tickets at ksutix.com. If you want more information on your favorite Flashes teams, visit kentstatesports.com or visit the Go Flashes app. We'll be back with more right after this.
I think you can do so much from traveling the world. So many people just stay in the box that we live in.
The study abroad program at Kent State made it clear what path I should be taking.
Experiencing the different classes to experiencing the art and the buildings and the culture. I'm just hoping to take back everything I've learned and be able to apply it into whatever I do in the future.
Kent State has basically helped to set up the vision for the career that I want to be able to go through.
For every just one more mile to your next ace on the court. When you have a sports-related injury, Cleveland Clinic is here. For our Cavaliers, our Guardians, and athletes at all levels, our sports medicine team helps keep you in the game. With expert diagnosis, personalized sports therapies, and game-changing surgeries. For every injury, for every athlete, for every care in the world. Cleveland Clinic.
Here with Kent State Gymnastics head coach Brice Biggin. Coach, appreciate you joining me again. And your team's off to a nice start. You're 6-2, coming off a couple of losses against some Power 5 teams, Rutgers and Michigan. Specifically, Heidi Schultz had a nice meet on beam. So what can you say about her performance and just the takeaways you got against those two tough teams?
When we talk about Heidi, we talk about consistency, especially on beam. But she's been great on bars this year too. She's just one of those people who she doesn't let things bother her. She goes out, she stays focused on what she needs to do. Something happens before her, she's able to kind of put that beside herself and just focus on what she needs to do. So, very pleased with where she's at right now. We're disappointed with the weekend's results. We felt like we had a good opportunity to go in there and make a statement against some really good Power 4 teams. And unfortunately, we just didn't compete up to the standards that we should be at right now.
Nene Alvine also had some highlights in that meet. So what can you say about her development throughout this season and what you're going to need from her the rest of MAC play?
Yeah, she's going to be a key person for us. We know she has the ability, especially on vault, beam, and floor, to score extremely high for us. And she's been very consistent over on those 3 events, which really is a huge step up for her. Bars, she's struggling a little bit with just kind of doing the consistency that she has day in and day out, but it is a new event for her. We know that it's been a little bit of struggle in the past, but the other 3 events she's taken huge strides on. Didn't compete much for us last year at all, so to be adding in 4 events and doing what she's doing is a huge step for her and us.
Big meet coming up this weekend at home against Central Michigan. Can you emphasize the importance of that one and how you make sure your team continues to take control without a loss in MAC play?
Yeah, this weekend is crucial for us. We just had a long talk about that this morning, actually. Where we have control of the situation. We're at home. We know we compete well at home. We know Central is a good team, and they've been a team that's been a rival for years. So it's going to be a great competition. We need to be able to go out there and focus on ourselves and what we need to do to be successful. Take advantage of being at home. But we do know that, we're going to have to be at our best to beat Central because they're a well-coached team. They're a good group of athletes. But we like the fact that we're at home and, we just need to go out there and stay confident.
The expectation for your program each year, Coach, is to win MAC championships, to go to NCAA regionals. So how do you feel this year's team is dealing with that pressure so far?
Not as well as we'd like, to be honest. And that, I'm an honest person. The girls know that. I think we had some pretty high standards set just because of what we saw early in the year. But we've seen them kind of take little steps backwards where we're not counting falls, but we're counting just a lot of little uncharacteristic mistakes for us. And those add up really quick in meets. So, I think we just want to see them kind of trust themselves a little bit more, believe in their talent, because we know the talent's there still. It's not like we're lacking there. They just need to go out and get the job done.
And how, as a coaching staff, do you try and build up that confidence so when the MAC championships turn around and throughout the regular season, you guys can find that bid to go back to the NCAA regionals yet again?
We try and work on consistency every day in practice. We're trying to fine tune the little things where they are making little mistakes. We've seen them make some of those corrections. They just need to carry it over into the meet. And to be honest, like as a coach, once that flag raises, it's on the athlete. And we've told them that, like, you just need to be able to go out there, breathe, relax, stay confident in what you do every day in practice and not try any harder. And we really build off of don't try harder, don't go harder, just relax and do your normal stuff.
You said you'd like to see more, yet your record is still strong right now at 6-2. Where would you say the strengths of the team right now?
Balance beam has been certainly our best event all year, and it's one that we talk to them a great deal about. We have a group over there that, number one, has been very consistent. They have the potential to score out the roof on beam. The way they move up there, their consistency. For the most part, they've been pretty clean all year. So, beam is really kind of the event that we've based most of our success off of this year, which is a great thing because a lot of teams struggle on beam. So for us to be that solid, it's a great step. We just have to have some of the other events kind of step up a little bit more.
This weekend against Central Michigan, that's Kent State Gymnastics head coach Brice Biggin. Coach, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
That'll do it for this week's episode of Flash Talk. Make sure you tune in next week for more Kent State athletics content as we inch closer to the MAC tournament. For our entire GFTV studio, Ethan Lachinsky, Justin Spots, I'm Dane Richardson saying good night and go Flashes.
As you know, Kent State Athletics, our basketball team has historically been a huge part of our athletic department. We have a winning tradition. We always bring a great game. But in today's day and age, the basketball game itself isn't going to entice the average fan. We really need to come over the top. We need to do these exciting things like they do in professional sports. And without sponsors or partners like Ken Ganley, we wouldn't be able to afford to do like tonight, the esports night with the Ken Ganley game room. Also being able to do the $10,000 putt at halftime that they're supporting. So those types of things help us advertise and get out into the community and maybe reach people who are not just the average basketball fan. They also help us out off the court. So many of our faculty, our staff, and our coaching know that they can go to Ken Ganley Chevrolet, get themselves a vehicle in a short amount of time without having to shop everywhere. They're so important to us on so many levels that we're just so grateful that they're a part of our family, and I don't know how we would live without them.